This is Begnning Yii 2.0, Part 1 of 15, Preparing Your Environment. So what we're going to cover today is your environment and getting that all set up so that you're ready to code. First thing you'll need is your development server. If you haven't already got one, I'll recommend a couple of good ones for you. You'll also need a good IDE. This is where you'll do all your coding. Then you'll need Composer, which will install all the Composer packages that you're going to be needing, and the Yii Framework 2.0. So you need a good local development server. Personally, I like XAMPP, which you can get at www.apachefriends.org. Or alternatively, if you're on a Windows machine, you can use Winamp at www.winamp.com. Just an aside there, XAMPP comes in 3 different flavors. It comes for Windows, Mac, and for Linux. Winamp, I believe, is only for Windows machines. Now, your IDE is important. This is what you're going to be actually coding in. It's going to be your coding environment. I like Eclipse, which you can get at www.eclipse.org. Or you can try Aptana Studio. This is another good one, made especially for PHP at www.aptana.com. Or you can try NetBeans, which is at netbeans.org. Now these are all open source and free, and I recommend all 3 of them. Personally, I've been using Eclipse for a number of years and have just stuck with it because I know it. Now you want to download and install Composer. But first of all, what is Composer? Well, it's a tool for dependency management in PHP. It allows you to declare the dependent libraries your project needs, and it will install them in your project for you. You can get that at getcomposer.org, hack download. Follow the directions found there. If you're on a Windows machine, I recommend that you set your path to point to Composer. That way, once you have your Apache server and PHP running, you can just run it from the command line, and it works very, very well. And then you'll need to install the Yii Framework 2.0 Advanced Template. And you're going to do that via Composer. Just take this command line here, php composer.var, create-project, --prefer-dist, --stability equal dev, because we're going to do as a development, and then space yiisoft hack yi2-app-advanced, and then space and ecom, which is the name of our project. After you install the application, you have to do the following steps to initialize the installed application, and you only need to do these once for all. So run the command init to initialize the application with a specific environment, and that's going to be dev. You're going to create a new database and adjust the components, DB configuration in common, config, main-local PHP. And then you're going to apply migrations with the console command yii migrate. This will create tables needed for the application to work. You can set the document roots of your web server if you're familiar with Apache. You can do that. Otherwise, you'll just do it from localhost, Yii application, front-end web, and back-end web. Otherwise, if you know what you're doing with Apache, set up your document roots to point to those and make it front-end and back-end, and that way it's easier to work with. And then to log into the application, you'll need to first sign up with any of your email addresses, a username and a password, and then you can log into the application with the same email address and password at any time. Okay, once you've done all that, you're ready, so let's get started. All right, so we're going to choose our development server package here. So I use XAMPP on my Windows machine. It gives me Apache, MySQL, PHP, and Perl. It also gives me the Mercury Mail, and it gives me Tomcat and FileZilla server. So if I want to set up an FTP server, I can do that as well. But that's not really necessary. All you really need is the Apache server, MySQL, PHP, and Perl. If you want the Mercury Mail to test the mail portions of this, you can do that. But you can get XAMPP for Windows, for Linux, or for Mac. Alternatively, you can get it for Windows or Mac at Winamp. You can get it for PC or Mac. And so you make your choice. They're both excellent servers. Okay, now it's time to choose our IDE, what we're going to be coding in, spending most of our time in. I like Eclipse. They have a new Luna package, or Lunar package. For PHP developers, you can get it for Windows 32-bit or 64-bit, Mac or Linux, 32-bit or 64-bit. You'll find that at www.eclipse.org. Download packages, Eclipse-PHP-developers hack Lunar. Or you can try Aptana. Aptana Studio 3.6 is available for Mac OS X, Windows, and Linux. This is an excellent little IDE, specifically designed for PHP development. You can also get a plug-in for Eclipse. If you already have Eclipse, you can get a plug-in for the Aptana Studio, and that will change just about any Eclipse version into an Aptana PHP IDE. Or you can try good old NetBeans. NetBeans is an excellent IDE, and you can get that at netbeans.org. They got a lot of plugins and Java technologies and all kinds of things. Of course, NetBeans is I believe it is an Oracle solution. So anyhow, make a choice, download all three, try them out, and choose the one you like. Okay, so now we want to get our Composer Dependency Manager for PHP. You go to getcomposer.org, and here's our front page for that. You can take a look at getting started with it. It'll give you all kinds of information here. You need at least PHP 5.3.2 to run. And you can download it via these instructions here. Or, of course, you can download it right here at the download link. Tells you how to do it. Tells you what version. You can get the latest snapshot, do a manual download. Or get the Windows installer. That's the way it'll also set up your path environment variable, so you can simply call Composer from any directory. That's what I did. And just run this composer setup.exe, and it'll install the latest composer version whenever it is executed. So that's a great way to do that. All right, so now it's time to get our Yii framework for 2.0. You'll want to jump on over to www.yiiframework.com, download and get the framework, and you'll scroll down the screen to Yii 2.0, and you'll want to get the latest version, which is April 13, 2014. Of course, if you install via Composer, you're going to get the right one. Use that command line that was in the introduction PowerPoint to run your Composer and download the install, and that way you'll be following right along with the ecom version. Be sure you run your init and change your codes up so that you know what where you're pointing your web server to, and this will install the Composer. Or alternatively, you can download an advanced template and install it from a web accessible folder, or extract it to a web accessible folder, and that'll get it to you, and you can change names and things like that. It's released on GitHub. You can get it at github.com. It has all the information that you'll need. Okay, because that's where it's going to run it from. Yourself 2 from GitHub. And there's the framework. So, as you can see, they've made some additions with just within a few days. Mostly to the build, to the documentations, to some extensions, and things like that. So that's how you get it. So download the Yii framework, use the Composer line from the introduction of this video, and that will set you up perfectly for the Composer. So you can pause that video and then write down that Composer line and run it in your from your command line, and that'll work. So once you have everything installed, this will install the Yii Framework 2 into an ecom directory at the root of your web server, which if you're using XAMPP is htdocs folder, htdocs.folder. Okay, so that's all there is to this one. So what we did today was we chose a web server to develop on. We chose an IDE to code in. We downloaded and installed Composer, and we used Composer to install the Yii framework. Well, that's a lot of good work. So we'll see you next time in part 2.